Hi, my name is Carl Dobrowolski. I'm joined here by Bill Giarratana, both with Goodwill Media Services, and we're just going to have a conversation about some important things that may interest you if you are a self-published author. You may have published a book. You may want to publish a book. We're going to talk about a few things that I think that you'll find interesting. Some industry background, why we do what we do, what our distinctives are. You might be thinking, who's Goodwill Media in contrast to all the other self-publishing agencies? Well, we're going to kind of discuss that and make it a fun time for you. So first of all, Goodwill Media was founded as Goodwill Rights Management in 2003. Around COVID, we began to change directions. Rights management and sales is what we call downstream publishing. It's essential, it's helpful, but we felt called to work very closely with thought leaders, authors that have a burning message to bring to the market. And we felt, being shepherds at heart, we felt they needed a shepherd. They were sheep without a shepherd. We repositioned ourselves, or I should say that the Lord repositioned Goodwill Media in the area of what's called upstream publishing. But before we go into what we do and why we do it, we'd like to have a discussion about why self-publishing, why hybrid publishing, and to contrast it with traditional publishing. So, Bill, what discuss a little bit about some of the trends that have over the years. You and I, we're not spring chickens. We're not old. We're not spring chickens. So we have seen between you and I, we have 50 years of experience in the publishing arena. Let's just talk about some things that we have seen and why the market now is different than what it
Yeah,
was
much
before.
different, much different. Yeah, in the beginning, there was very few Christian authors, and so the Christian publishing companies were just so hungry to get any type of book, and there were so many books, coming into the marketplace. And as a matter of fact, I remember being asked for the authors that I was working for a Christian, a small Christian bookstore, sorry, company at that particular time. Do you have any displays? We need displays. We need to fill up the store with floor displays or cable displays or shelf tops. Do you have posters? Okay, then that market has changed totally. Now the Christian publishers don't even want to talk to a potential author unless they have something like 15 or to 25,000 followers. And so what author has that type of reach?
Very
Not,
few.
yeah,
Yeah, very
very,
few.
very few. And so now you have, authors that have they have something to say. There's some good theology that they have. They want to share. God has given them a vision. God has given them a ministry, and
Right.
there's no place for them to publish their book. And
In fact, there are more, yeah,
yeah,
the statistic says that there are 80% of people in the United States want to write a book.
right,
Could be less, but there are people that realize they have a message and they want to, pastors, for example, pastors and others, they want to write. But just as you mentioned, there are fewer bookstores, right? Years ago, we had the chains. We
right.
had Family Christian Bookstores, over 400 Christian bookstores, Lifeway, 175 bookstores. There were other smaller chains. Christian bookstores have evaporated.
And go to a Barnes and Noble, and what is it? It's a religious section that has every single religion in there besides Christianity. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Mm.
And even if they carry your book with
Yeah.
it. So what has happened is that self-publishing has just taken off,
Yeah.
because
And
it's really the only way. There's no other avenue for a publisher to get their book published but
or
through,
an author, yeah.
yeah, author.
Well, you mentioned that a Christian publisher, yeah, they won't look at a manuscript, or they first try to determine what is the platform. Most the larger publishers trying to determine what is your platform. You've got 10, 15, 20,000 followers. Oh, okay, we may look at your manuscript, but many times you can't even get to the publisher without an agent, which is
That's
an
right.
arduous process in itself, trying to find the right agent.
Right. That's right.
A ton of people want to write. A ton of people want to write. And yet I heard from recently from a top tiered, one of the top 10 Christian publishers. We're getting more and more manuscripts than ever before, and we have less room for them, and we're rejecting these manuscripts more and more.
What was it that
Well,
90%? Some
well, the number is 1 out of 500. 1 out of 500. 500, if 500 manuscripts, one is chosen. Thereabouts. And it's different for each publishing house. So you are right to ask the question, right? You are right to ask the question. How do I get my book published with everything stacked against me? And I feel that God has put something on my heart. What do I do? What do I do?
only one route. That's to self-publish a book, and you have self-publishing companies springing up. Let me just say this at this particular point. Carl asked me to come aboard about 4 years ago, and one of the things they said was that, are we going to treat our authors like numbers, or are we going to treat them like people? Are we really going to hold their hand and see them through the process? And Carl said, we're going to hold their hand and see them through the process. We will not treat them as a number. And that is exactly what we have done for the last 4 years. And authors have come back and back to us because of that, because we have taken a very personal investment in what they do. We believe in what they do. We want them to be successful. We're not a number.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for saying that. That's right. Before we kind of drill down a little further on that, because we are the Goodwill Media, the team is comprised of people that really care. We're transformed. We are Christians first, businessmen second. Each one of us have had some level of leadership. We've had experience in the Christian publishing industry, but we have had experience in leadership within the church. So we know, we care. But really, let's just talk about some of the benefits before we go this direction. Let's talk about some of the benefits of self-publishing. And it's true, you got to invest. And Bill, you and I have had a lot of discussions around this. We want to work with people that have a holy ambition. They've got a message, but they have a holy ambition. They've got vision, but they have to have a budget. And they have to be convinced that self-publishing is for them. But let's talk about some of the advantages. You already touched on one of them. Self-publishing is an avenue I want to travel on today. I can do it. I can do it. But let's talk about some of the other benefits of self-publishing as distinct from hybrid publishing, which we'll discuss briefly as well. But first of all, if I've got a message, I've got the means, I can do it. I don't have to wait for this publisher, that publisher to reject me or to accept me. And again, most times it's rejection than acceptance. So what are some of the other benefits, Bill, of
Well, ownership,
self-publishing.
I think, is one of the major, is that the you own everything. You own the title, you own the ISBN, you own the content to it. You control it all. Where if you go to a traditional publisher and even at a hybrid publisher, okay, you don't necessarily own it all. But with self-publishing, you do, and especially with Goodwill Media, you own it all.
That's right.
The other advantage with Goodwill Media is that we don't force you to print books.
Yeah.
With many of the other self-publishing company, they force you to purchase books. We do not. We will do that for you, but we don't say you must purchase books.
And in fact, in some of our packages, and it depends on which, but most times, Bill, I mean, you can confirm this. We have given books
That's
to
right.
given why given books to our author clients.
We want to see
Why
them
do we do
succeed.
that?
We
Mhm.
want to see them succeed. That is really the motto of Goodwill Media. Okay. And as I said, earlier, our authors come back to us over and over again with books because of that. And many have said that. Many have looked to other self-publishers. They said, we've chosen you because you take us on as someone personal and not a number.
Right, right. And also very important, you own all of the rights, which is very important because people need to know that if you sign on with a traditional publisher, and God bless them, they've done amazing work over the years to promote the Christian message through books that have changed millions of lives. But you sign on, you have what we call encumbered rights. You may have reserved some rights, but by and large, you have written a lifelong contract where a number of your rights are locked. And now
And there's
those
right.
rights are funneled through the publisher.
That's correct. Yeah.
And that's not you may want to pass on those rights to your children, or you may want to do something else with the book. You can't.
Yeah.
You won't be
No,
able
no.
to.
And that's the other thing is that if you want to take the book and create, say, an audio book outside of a self-publishing company, you then have to ask permission to be able to use the content to do an audio book.
Which if
Which
you didn't
which
reserve those rights, if
is
you didn't
reserved, right?
reserve those rights,
Yeah.
you may ask permission and you may be told no.
Yeah, we just so we have a friend who has a number of books. She's written a long time ago, and she can't sell the books in other countries because Amazon owns the rights to those books,
Or
and
the or the or the hybrid publisher
or
or the
the hybrid
self-publisher. Yeah,
too, they own the rights to that book.
yeah, that's
So,
right.
and as I said, with Goodwill Media, you own all the rights to it.
You own all the rights. You own all of the sales. But let's talk about this. I mean, you're a businessman. You've been a long-standing businessman, and you think like an entrepreneur. Now, why don't you kind of discuss? We talk about micro publishing. Number one, we create authors out of writers, but even more exciting is that from these authors, we create micro publishers from them. Now that might sound strange to the ear. What's a
Mm,
micro publisher? It's like a micro brewery. Discuss what that is and why is that important?
mm.
Especially for somebody that wants to take charge of their
Mm.
writing destiny. Why is that important?
Well, as in microbreweries, okay, they cater to a smaller group of customers. They tailor a beer to a particular taste. Some will do multiple brewers, but primarily they are looking for more of the quality and not the quantity. Now that doesn't mean that you can't become a best-selling author and sell,
Sure.
a large amount, but publishers will not take certain topics. So for example, publishers are 2 years out. So if they did purchase your manuscript, it's going to take 2 years before that book even reaches the shelves, or or Amazon, or wherever they may distribute it. Okay, so and the other thing is, it may be the content. They said, well, it's really not saleable, and we're not going to take the manuscript, and we're going to pass it over. But yet, what you have to say, what the author has to say, is real quality. Okay, but they're not going to take it. They're traditional publishers. So that's the reason why many authors come to self-publishing, or, as Carl said, hybrid publishing.
But micro publishing. And that you are the publisher. And if you're a businessman or a businesswoman, or you'll grab this, you'll gravitate. What we want to do is we want to empower people to stand on their own and not rely on someone else. And we give them the architecture, the thinking, the philosophy, the encouragement, the enthusiasm, so they can be that publisher, that micro publisher of their content with their imprint. Right? We've developed logos and
Right.
mission statements and vision for our authors. They are publishers, right? They may be small, micro, but they're publishers, right? We create something that they never thought that they would be, right?
That's right. That's right, Charles. That's amen to that. That's it.
Yeah. So definitely, micro publishing, or what we do, self-publishing, we empower people to self-publish, has advantages. Can you since you've been with me over the last 3 or 4 years, we have a number of great clients. Can you discuss, Bill? Let's discuss what's the best type of client to work with, or the best type of people that would love working with Goodwill Media.
Hmm. The people that I'm lost for words right now, Carl.
Yeah, well, look,
No, we can stop, because he can edit all this. So I'm not really sure what you're trying to get.
So really, just to frame that a little bit better, who is our target audience? Who's most likely to love what we offer?
Yeah, yeah. Thought leaders, CEOs, pastors, people who head up ministries. Those are the individuals, okay, that are the better authors, okay, that we have come across. And why is because they have a story to tell.
Right.
Whether it's their past experience, whether present experience, okay, they have something to say with it, and they make the best author.
Well, look, you've got a marketing background. You're indispensable in when it comes to this. And anyone that will be working with Goodwill Media will be working with Bill to hone their message, hone their brand, and make sure that their message gets out. But let's just discuss why a book is one of the most effective means of marketing.
Yeah.
And because those people that you mentioned, Bill, will appreciate that. Wait a minute, hang on. I've got an organization. I got a cause. The book, this is going to be those small hinges that open big doors for us. So let's talk about book as a effective marketing tool.
Yeah. When you write a book, one looks at you as the expert, the go-to person.
Right.
And so it adds credibility to who you are. The other thing it does is that, and I don't know if I've coined this saying, but net reach. So here it expands, whether it's your ministry, okay, whether it's your organization, whether it's whatever it may be, it expands
Right.
that what you have to say, and it goes beyond the book, it goes beyond who you are, and it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And
in fact,
a
if I,
book.
yeah. No, please continue. Please
Oh,
continue.
okay.
Well,
But the other thing, once you write a book, as I said, all of a sudden you become the go-to person, and you start getting interviews on podcasters, you start getting speaking engagements, and all of a sudden you become the authority on that particular topic or subject.
And in fact, I think the number is 68% that pick up a book written by someone already regard that person as, like you said, the authority.
That's right.
And so, I mean, our
it opens up
audience.
doors. And what it does, it just opens up doors for you. Okay, doors that never, were shut before are now open for you.
Well, let's not. Well, I was not going to mention who the author is, but let's mention him.
Okay.
One of our authors wrote a book about living in the full liberty of Christ.
Mm.
He's a Christian counselor. He does much more. He wrote a book. We released it last year in April. I mean, you had a discussion with Derek. Discuss what that book has done for Derek.
Yeah. Well, he has sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies, which is great. But because he's a counselor, okay, he has counseling sessions. He has so many prospective clients, he can't keep up with it. He is so backlogged. That's what the book has done. Again, you are the go-to person for that particular topic.
And especially if it's a narrow area, then you become even that much more in demand. But even more, he sold, a ton of
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. Okay.
So now he's got to schedule appointments out. But he is now creating online courses.
Of course. Yes, that's right.
To meet with the demand.
That's right. That's it.
From one book.
One book. Oh, yeah, that's what I was mentioning with net reach. Okay, the book is just one thing, but now you can go into an audio book, or now you go into videos. Okay, it just goes on and on and on. But where did it start? It started with the book.
Yeah, and it's an effective means of marketing, and it's an effective means of ministry. If I'm a pastor, let's say I've got 50 people in my congregation, right? Well, most of the time, only those 50 people are going to hear me. But when I write a book, what happens?
It goes beyond the pews. It goes beyond those walls.
It goes to 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000.
That's right. Absolutely. You're building your brand. That's the other thing where where Goodwill Media comes in differently. We believe in building an author's brand. Okay, not just selling their book. If we build your brand, okay, other things will happen as more sales of the book. Okay, speaking engagements, video, so forth and so on. So it's important that an author, builds their brand. As I said, is that people buy authors, they don't buy books. If they buy a book from you, if they buy a book, okay, they will continue to buy from that particular author because they like that author.
Okay, I think you just explained, because I wanted you to explain why, because some people listening to this, reviewing this, may balk at, like, I don't want to become a brand. Oh, that seems so worldly, so slick. And yet you explained why having a brand in a sanctified sense is important, because people don't want to simply view you as something that they read, you know, a description of a book they read on Amazon. They want something 3D,
That's
right?
right. I do. That's exactly right. That's why building an author's brand is important. It carries on through, as I said, through multiple media channels. That's one of the importance of the brand. And as I mentioned, that you know people don't buy books; they buy authors. So if they like you as an author, they like your brand, you produce another book, you continue another book, on and on and on, they're going to be loyal to you. And then they will take that book and share it with other people. And then those other people like it, they then will become loyal to you.
Yeah. By the way, here's another statistic. At least 70% of people that buy a book, especially if they like it, they're going to discuss it with somebody. And evangelicals, we're glad that we're very happy to be described as evangelical. We're conservative evangelicals. We love sound theology. We love the gospel, love the church,
Mm,
and we want to create nourishing books, good books, nourishing books. But we know that the people, the readers of our authors, number one, they're going to discuss the book. Number two, they're going to buy not only a book for themselves, but for somebody else. Sometimes they'll buy 10, 20 copies to distribute to others. This is the power of the book.
the
Given
written.
given that Bill, that you do for Goodwill Media, you help our authors understand marketing and to value the necessity of marketing and promotion. Discuss some of the ways that, and maybe we can now talk about some of the services that we provide,
Mm.
but talk about how the different areas that we can help an author market their books.
Well, the primary way is, of course, now online, through social media. And social media, the way that you can look at algorithms. Okay, you can write criterias, so you can narrow the focus of your topic, and really target a particular segment of the market. Okay, which is really what you want to do. You want to speak to those people who are interested in that topic with that. So you don't want to go to an area where no one really cares. So social media is the big thing. But just like anything in marketing, the marketing is that you have to be consistent, okay,
Right.
redundant, and it has to be a long process.
Yeah.
You can't just do it a month or 2 months, because the other thing is that the algorithms within the social network, okay, doesn't really start to kick in until about the second month. And even then, it's really more like the end of the second month, third month. And now it starts to organically germinate throughout the entire social media platforms.
Right.
So the thing is that you have to stay with it. You just
Right.
say, hey, okay, I'm just going to be here for a short term. It
Yeah.
does not work that way. No marketing works that way.
Yeah. Consistent, persistent,
That's right.
and in combination. You talk about ripples in a pond. Ripples in a pond.
Yeah.
And we've used different
Mm,
terminology. Ripples in a pond and cluster marketing.
right.
Right? So not just one little tool, but
Mm,
ripples
yeah,
in a pond and cluster marketing, or whatever terminology you've
yeah,
used in the past.
yeah. So I read all the time, and I see organizations out there, self publishers. All you need to do is write 20 reviews on Amazon. All you need to do is do this. All you need to do is do social media. That doesn't work. It needs to be an integrated program. So a good illustration of this is imagine yourself on the bank of a pond, and in your hand you have rocks, and
Right,
there's different size rocks. Okay,
right,
large
right,
ones, medium, small ones, and you throw them up in the
right,
air, and they go into the water, and they all make ripples. Okay, some are small ripples, some are bigger ripples. but they all interact with each other. That's the key to a marketing program. They
Right.
all need to interact. You just can't do social media. You need
Right.
to do interviews. You need to do other things. You need to do speaking engagements,
Right.
all so forth and so on. So if you're really wasting money if someone tells you all you have to do is just do this one thing. Okay, it will not work.
So
And
what you're
the other
saying
thing
is
is
really no silver bullet,
that's right. There's no silver bullet. Thank you, Carl. There's no
but
silver bullet with it.
there are silver bullets,
That's right.
multiple,
There's
right?
silver bullets. You're right. So again, and the perimeter of the pond really represents say 60 million, 80 million Christians. Okay, so within that the pond, and that's the reason why you need to do an integrated program, is that your target audience is within that pond. So when you do the integrated, it goes out and it overlaps, and
Right.
those target audiences that you want to reach, okay, it's reinforced inside their brain. And that's
Right.
the word term comes marketing, meaning searing into the brain. So it's
Mm.
not just a one time process, it's multiple that they see you in different places. That's the key to every marketing plan.
Yeah. And we help our clients to think about what, according to what they've got in terms of a
Right.
budget, we promise them, and we'll talk about the phases that we go through in a quick second. But we're kind of talking about that last stage in the
Mhm.
process, which is launch, and then continued marketing. We help authors launch their books. But just like a baby who's born needs to be nourished, a book is born, book is launched, you've got to nourish that book through consistent, persistent, integrated marketing. But let's talk about a little bit, Bill, let's talk a little bit about some of the other things that we do for our authors. We care well for the authors. We've got a part of our distinctive is that we care for ministries, we care for missions, we bleed that. I think we're at Goodwill Media is one of the premier self-publishing agencies in the ministry
Industry side,
space.
yes, yes.
It seems like those are the best clients, those who have a strong missional heart
Mm.
feel very much at home at Goodwill Media. So
Great
another,
stories. That's the other. There's so. I mean, we can talk about some of the stories, but I mean, there's just so many powerful stories that they have. They're just so moving.
that's right.
And so and to when whether it's the president of a ministry, CEO, whatever, maybe when they go out into the field, they capture all of these stories and
Right.
bring these stories to life
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's the wow effect with it. And
Right.
my goodness.
Right. Right. Right.
And they have seen their ministries grow. And how? Well, donors. That's one of the.
Well, and that's another important. If someone you're a ministry or a mission or any other organization that thrives on donations.
That's right. Yeah.
There's nothing better to tell
Better.
the story, to excite a potential donor like a book that tells great stories for God's glory.
Mhm, mhm.
And in
That-
fact, Bill, we're
yeah.
helping to write a book for a mission organization
Mhm.
in Tennessee that's going to tell their amazing story from the 60s
Yes.
till now, truly an Acts 29 ministry, the Holy Spirit working amazing works to reach millions of people through their ministry. And that book is going to tell the stories so that they can gather more to their mission
Yeah,
and
that's right.
empower a
And
whole
right,
movement,
right. And how
right?
how many times do we have it was by the way, on the back page, you should put an area where people can donate, put the name of your organization, so forth, the address, blah, blah. And they were like, wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah,
So
and
the
that's
book, so the book has
essential.
has another purpose to it because the person is now motivated. wow effect. And now here it is. Okay, now I know where I can donate money toward
Yeah, yeah.
this mission.
So,
Again,
oh,
what I want to say is that we hold the author's hand. Okay, our experience through publishing, through ministry, these little things that we add to it, adds to the experience of the author, and that's the reason why they keep on coming back to us.
right. And we hold their hands, but we also hold very gently their story, their mission,
Yeah.
their message. We ask our authors, uh, and we have introductory meeting with them, and we hammer out what is the mission for your book. We
Man.
help hammer that out. We align with their mission, but we also ask, what do you want? What do you want from this journey? So that
Mhm.
we can pray with them, and so that we can align with them, and so that everything that we do is tailored towards the goal of the book for the reader, but also the goal for someone else. I mean, I'm sorry, for their own journey. And
Right.
it's that is
Right.
absolutely essential. So we bring them in, we interview them, we discover their brand, discover their DNA, and then we set them on a journey.
Mhm.
We've got author coaches,
Yeah.
we've got
Yeah.
great editors that will shepherd them through for as many weeks as
Mm. Mm.
as it
Mm.
takes. Usually, this process is 3, 4, 5 months, and then we build the books,
Oh, that's right. And Carl,
which
how
is which
many
is
times have authors come to us and said, you know what, I I'm not a writer. If I'm going to do this book, you're going to have to help me write it. Okay, and so we have ghost writers. We have people that can take it right from the beginning. So you don't necessarily even need to be a writer. You just need to have an idea. Okay, this is my idea, and we will hold your hand and we will walk you through the process. In X amount of time, you will have a book.
that's a great point. Someone might say, but I've got these ideas.
Mm.
And I haven't written anything. Well, if you've got a book in you, we're book surgeons. We'll take it out of you. We know how to take that out
That's a
out
good word, Carl. Book surgeon, I like that. Yeah.
book surgeons.
Yeah.
But now, so number one, we want to understand the author. We want to have the same passion that they do. Otherwise, we're just a meat grinder.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just looking for a transaction. That's not what we want. We want
No.
a relationship, a kingdom relationship, and curate their message. We have the editor and author coach, which would do terrific work with our authors. Now, Bill, talk about, I mean, once that phase is done
Mm.
and
Mm.
before that's completed, what do we begin to do? And speaking about cover design,
You know,
journal design, sometimes
yeah, yeah,
logo for their
that's
book. Yeah,
yeah.
explain what we do for.
What we do is we have a cover design form, and it gets sent to the author, and there are times where we help the author fill it out, but it gives our designers a good understanding, a good idea what the author wants. We want to make sure that the cover of the book, okay, translates to the interior of the book. And so we ask them to fill out a form, and
Mhm.
it helps our designers immensely, and also when it comes to the internal side of it, is that it's laid out professionally. And so what does that mean, laid out professionally?
Exactly.
if
That's a good
you
question.
if you understand typography, okay, and I'm from old school, so when I went to school, we had to take a typography course, and so there's certain rules in typography, and so you want to make sure that the book is that the book is legible. Okay, and it depends upon the typeface you choose. It depends upon the spacing in between sentences. It depends upon the width of the sentence. All of this is thrown into it. And there, as I said, typography is a dying art. there are few people that really understand what makes a letter more legible than another letter. And so we just have to be blessed with some great designers who understand that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you probably would not find that every place.
And yet that's one of the most important things about a reader's experience. Who wants to read a book that has horrible type?
Right.
The gutters are too narrow.
Well,
It's too the type is too small. Who wants to read a book
yeah.
that way?
I mean, you pick up a book, you don't want the book to fight you. You want the book to flow.
Oh, that's
And
good.
that's what you want.
Flow, not fight.
Not fight you. That's right. And there are books that fight you out
Yeah.
there because the person that laid it out really did understand typography.
And if our authors want images in their books, photographs, charts,
Charts,
um,
footnotes,
their own illustrations, we accommodate.
accommodate all. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not a cookie cutter.
yeah.
Okay, everything is customized for the author.
The
The
experience is
author is
customized,
king.
the book is customized. It's not, we don't dictate the terms. There are always guidelines. We don't dictate the terms of what your book should, we'll give you our experience. Our entire team
Mm.
has over 150 years of publishing experience. We're going to give you the best advice and guidance. At the end, that old adage that the customer is always right, it's true.
True.
It's
It's true.
true at Goodwill Media because we're a kingdom company.
Mm.
We serve Christ by serving you. And we advance the kingdom by moving the dial on your calling, especially if your calling involves a book. And by the way, Bill, isn't it true that God so appreciates a book, the
Mm.
Bible? He
It's
sent
a
his son.
word.
He sent his son, who's called the Logos, the Word.
That's right.
The Bible is a book, a library of 66 books. And God is, one could say God is dedicated to publishing and to book publishing. And we're dedicated not only to creating good books, but great books.
That's right.
And I think, Bill, we've got a track record of publishing and releasing great books because we want to tell great stories for God's glory. Bill, this is just the first of a series of kingdom conversations that we're going to have that will hopefully orient people about the book industry, self-publishing industry, and what they deserve as an
Mm.
author from a company like Goodwill Media. Thanks for taking the time to discuss this with me, Bill. You're an indispensable part of the team. In the future, we may involve our other members of the team and
Mm.
some of our authors. So thank you.
Thank you. You're a good brother in the Lord, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. So if anyone is interested in following up, you can write us at goodwillmediaservices@gmail.com. And please go to our website, www.goodwillmediaservices.com, and you can find out more. Actually, I think the email address is goodwillmediaservices@gmail.com. I don't know if I said that correctly earlier, but yeah, God bless you. And if you got a book, keep writing. You need help. We're prayerfully here to help you. God bless you all.
God bless.